saying that there was no feeling like winning the state championship with your brother.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go. What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now. And yo, we got an interesting story for y'all today. Interesting story and an even more interesting brother. And today's episode, we got my man, Byron Gillespie, on the line. Now, Byron is a father. He's a husband. He's a trainer at the gym. And he's originally from Greenville, Tennessee. Yeah, I know y'all probably don't know where that is. It's somewhere outside of Knoxville. But he's all around a solid dude. And one thing that's unique about his story, and this is really what we're going to dive into, is, he has two sons that are finishing high school this year that were football players. And both of them actually signed to play college football with the same school. But there is something to that story because these brothers are not twins. We're going to talk about that. So, fellas, in the Black Fathers Now family, let's welcome my man, Byron Gillespie. What's up, dude?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing today?
Good. Doing good. Blessed.
All day, every day. That's what's up. And look, I see the background. You're at the gym, right?
Right.
Yeah, I said you're a trainer. So look, brother's always working. So we just catching a little snippet here to talk about your story before you go back out there and kill somebody out there doing their reps.
I'm just helping them live longer.
Look, they don't feel like it in the middle of it, though, right?
Right.
Now, dig that, man. So before we get started, I always have the brothers give shout outs, man. I know you better give a shout out to the fam and all of that. We know how things operate at the crib. So you better give a shout out to those that mean the most to you, my man.
Well, I'm speaking of giving shout outs. I have to give a shout out to my fam, but I really want to give a shout out to my dad, Tommy Gillespie, because that's where it all started. That's who I was trying to equal up to. That's who I was trying to be. And of course, my wife, who has gone through all of this with me and the change, and just, shout out to my family and friends.
That's what's up, man. Smart brother. So you mentioned your dad, Tommy Gillespie. And so
Yes.
Now it's just really kind of jumping back to your origin story, man. Like, talk to us about growing up and, just kind of like how you've evolved, because you eventually got to a point in which you played college football at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga and all of that. But take us back to the beginning, to Greenville, Tennessee. And you mentioned your dad. Talk to us about growing up, brother.
All right. Well, I grew up in Greenville, Tennessee, which is it's a small town, but it's a fast growing small town. But like my mother, Tanya Gillespie, and my father, Tommy Gillespie, they got married in Greenville and had me and had my brother, and they raised us. And we were raised, me and my brother were kind of raised on both sides of the fences, where my dad's side of the family was kind of rugged and, survival, doing whatever to survive. And my mom's side of the family was a preacher, teachers, lawyers, and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we were raised, but we were always in sports. I mean, I've been coaching my brother and my little cousin since we was 10. So me and my brother, our games was not going to play video games. Our games was actually going through a whole made up season playing sports.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how we were raised. And then, my grandmother's around. We didn't have any grandfathers around. I had both of my grandmothers, and we would go to their houses, and they kind of helped raise us. I learned a lot of values from both of them, growing up, but I didn't have any grandfather around. So my dad was, he was everything to me, and my still is.
Oh, awesome, man. And so pretty much, so Greenville, small community, and it sounded like you literally kind of had that village. You know what I'm saying? Like, how
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, and Augusta's probably comparable to Knoxville, where we both currently live. And Augusta's a small city too, but the thing that was unique about my experience was both sides of my family, back probably 3 or 4 generations, can trace themselves back to the Augusta area. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that village and cousins.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Same here. So, you know, and my dad wasn't really tough on us, you know, like he was tough to an extent, but he wasn't really tough on us. And I guess probably how I would give my credit to my is just how he was relentless, saying, hey, go play, you know, get out of the house, go play, go catch, go play, you know. So eventually, you know, going through high school, I was always smart. I always had 3.5 or better all the way through school, even college.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, you and he always encouraged, man, you can get that scholarship, man. You just got to do it. But he always thought it was going to be basketball because I was really good at basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And so was he. So, you know, he was pushing me and my brother to be better than he was, because my mom, 18, started working at the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
She still works at the bank.
Wow.
Today.
Okay.
My dad, who started with the company, he just now retired. He just turned 65. But he always had the same job. And then what's unique about our situation is they've always been married. They're married 40 years this year. So, you know, me and my brother's really tight, even though we're 3 years apart. We would have played football together really quick. So I think, you know, growing up like that, I mean, me and my brother, we fought then, but like since then, like we're like best friends.
Wow.
And I think my sons see that too, you know. They saw our togetherness and how family first.
No matter what the circumstance.
No matter what the circumstance is. So, you know, I ended up doing good and got a full ride to UTC Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of how this situation started, because I still had a girlfriend in Greenville, Tennessee, that I really liked, but she was younger. She was still going to be in high school, and I was starting a new journey in college.
Okay.
2.5 hours away from Greenville is Chattanooga.
Okay. Interesting. And so you went to college, you went on a football scholarship, and, you know, you came from a solid background, right? You know what I'm saying? You had the model at the crib, you know, your dad was there, your mom was there, you had this village, you know, so it's like you had all of these things that some of us grow up and don't necessarily have, right? So it's like you had the example set. You know what I'm saying? Which was really dope. And then that literally led to you, you know, getting a full scholarship to, you know, go play football at UTC. And then you mentioned that that's when this particular scenario started. And so you had a girlfriend back at the crib, and, you know, you're the big man on campus playing football in college now. So meeting women is probably not a hard thing to do at that particular moment, correct?
Right. Correct. And being, you know, trying to have a relationship back home, and then trying to not really fit in, but like go out with your friends and hang out there on the weekends instead of running back home, you know, like it just gets tough, you know, you want to be part of the fellas.
Absolutely. We all want to, you know, it's interesting, man. Like as you grow up, you know, no matter how old you get, you always want to be a part of the crew. Right. Like that's like, you know, now granted, I think we evolve and become members in parts of different crews or different tribes. But that's this age old thing in regards to being a man, or just being a person that you want to belong. Like you want to be a part of something. And so it's interesting that you say that, because like you said, you had the girl back at the crib, but, you know, the fellas are here. And the team is here. We're all hanging out. It's like, I want to be a part of the crew. It's like, you know, I don't want to be disassociated. And football is a team sport. So it's not like you're playing tennis where you're isolated. You just go solo dolo. You want to connect.
Right. So that's where I met my now wife, Cheryl. And I say I was probably a sophomore when I met her. And, you know, we was just friends, you know, hanging out, you know, doing what friends do. But
You ain't got to go into detail, brother. You ain't got to
right. But eventually, you know, like we were tight, but we weren't ever tight enough to say we were in a relationship, right?
Gotcha.
So and then what really happened is as time goes on, you know, stuff happens between me and the girlfriend at home, and then me and her was always there for each other. Like she had a boyfriend before me that they broke up, and you know, we were just always there for each other like a friend, which probably why we're married now, right?
Gotcha.
And I'll never forget there was a summer, and it was my birthday, and I had went over there, and you know, just so she could tell me happy birthday and stuff, because you got to think we on summer vacation. So I'm back in Greenville now, and she's living in Chattanooga, right? Okay. So, you know, we did, and we said hello, and there was a group of us together, so it wasn't nothing romantic or anything. We just hung out, and you know, I left. Well, about a month later, she called me, and she said I'm pregnant.
Wow. Now, this is the girl back in Greenville, or this is your wife?
No, this is my wife.
Okay.
Right? This is the one in Chattanooga.
Okay. So well, she wasn't your wife at the time, but this was your
right.
Gotcha.
Yes, she was my friend. She had already moved. She already had a new boyfriend.
Wow.
And she called me and she's like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, I mean, first thing any brother gonna say is, how you know it's mine?
Yeah, it is. First thing, right?
First thing. And my dad was like, that's what you, because I told them first, you know, I told my mom and dad first, see. And that's before any friend, anybody, because that's how close our family is. And my mom just shook her head and walked off, and my dad was like, you need to make sure that baby's yours. Like, you know, he didn't know what kind of relationship I had with her.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I asked her, and she's like, I mean, I'm positive it's yours, because that's how I know is this is the first time I tried to do something since us, and I could tell something was wrong with my body. So I actually went to the doctor, and I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh gosh.
Oh, wow. And so that's your friend, quote unquote, in college, who's now your wife, obviously. But so then explain to me about the girlfriend back home in Greenville.
Okay, so knowing that, I did call my best friend after that. I was like, man, I just need to get away. And I went and seen another best friend, which is a female, because I wanted to talk to her, you know, let her fill me out. So I was like, I'm going to Hilton Head. So I rented a car. We drove to Hilton Head. And I mean, this was probably like a day after I found out.
Okay.
Or that weekend. I don't even remember what day it was, but we drove out to Hilton Head, right? So when we get to Hilton Head, you know, we're having fun and relax and talking to my friend. The girlfriend back home calls me.
Wow.
She says, I don't know what's wrong with me, but yesterday we went out and I had a couple of drinks and I just got sick. And I was like, you drank that much? She's like, no, you don't understand. I had a couple of drinks and I got sick.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. So like a day later, the girl from back home calls and says
a week later. Because it was probably maybe a weekend after I found out. So say I found out on a Monday, that weekend I probably went. And when I say that weekend, I probably left on Saturday, came back that next Tuesday or Wednesday. I remember it was during the week. And on that weekend, she actually was hanging out with one of my good friends and her girlfriend and a couple other girls. And she was like, I'm sick. And I was like, you know, like, has God ever spoke to you and told you? Because he told me right then, he said, she's pregnant.
Wow.
She didn't know she's pregnant, but something just told me she was pregnant. So I go on through my trip. When I get back, I was like, yeah, have you took a test yet? And she's like, yeah. And she handed it to me and she was pregnant.
Oh my God. So hold up. So, and this is your sophomore year in college?
Right.
Sophomore year in college. Right. You got the girlfriend.
19, yeah.
19. So the girlfriend's still back at the crib. And then you got your really good friend who you weren't exclusively dating, who actually just started dating somebody else. Within a week, they both tell you that they're pregnant.
Right.
So what happened next, brother?
So I didn't tell the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I should have. Today I would. Today, after you go through a lot of stuff, you get stronger. But I was
hindsight's 2020. Yeah, hindsight. Looking back, you like, heck yeah, I'd have said it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I couldn't tell her. So, considering the other girl had a boyfriend, so I'm like, well, I could tell her. Well, I told her, she was devastated. So it was just tough. Like, that period of time is like literally the toughest time in my life.
Mm-hmm. I could imagine. But look, any brother listening to that type of situation, like at that particular moment, it's a movie.
Right. So at that point, I'm like, man, what do I do? And you tell one person something, it spreads, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what happened. I told a friend who told his girlfriend, and then they ended up telling her. And this was like 2 months later, right?
Wow.
When she finds out, and
that
she's like,
you're talking about your girlfriend finding out that the girl in college is pregnant too.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. So what? So what happened then?
Drama.
I bet.
Drama from then on. It was just a tug of war, and it was a tug of war for me in my brain, considering that I just told you my dad and mom are still married.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't no split households. There wasn't, so I was worried about that. So I was trying to be there for both of them.
Okay.
Go to doctor's appointments, just trying to be there.
So you're trying to physically be there, but what about like how were you emotionally in the midst of a situation like this?
Just how was I going to do it? Like, one, do I even need to play any more football? Should I just get a job? I didn't know. I was scared. One, for how am I going to be there for both of them when they're born? And like one lives in a different city, one lives in another different city. How was I going to put them together? All I could think about is my family. That's all. That was my example. Mm-hmm. So I was worried. Like, my dad was always there. Like, he lived with me. That this is impossible to live with both of them, right?
Absolutely.
So that was worried, and and like I said, like how are they going to live their lives knowing this? Because like I was saying, God said that our kids and our next generations pay for our sins. So they kind of did, they had to grow up knowing that everybody knew that the situation. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. But I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about that though, because after you and I talked a few weeks ago, you also shared something that you did from a move perspective. It was about a year ago that kind of turned the tide on some of that. So, like you mentioned, it was after the kids were, this happened and there was drama involved. And like you mentioned to me, there was drama kind of throughout the process, as the kids kind of grew up. But you kind of decided to make a move about a year ago to do something that I think is profound. And I think, like you mentioned, how the kids kind of set the stage for what's to come. You set the stage for what's to come with this action that you took. Talk to us a little bit about what happened about a year ago, man.
Okay, so it was actually a little longer than a year ago. But if you let my son tell the story, it'd be 4 years ago.
Okay.
Because going into high school, they were like, man, we want to go to school together.
Okay.
I want to go to Greenville. My son was, me being a Green Devil, because that's what we are, the Greenville Green Devils. Okay. Me being a Green Devil, I was always stuck because my other two sons were going to be Green Devils, right? Gotcha. They never want to change schools. They wanted Jordan to be there with them, but they never wanted to change schools. So Jordan always wanted to go to Greenville. He always wanted to be a Green Devil, like his daddy and his uncle. So when it came to a point where I remember the text messages. I'm on the way to Greenville's first state championship to watch Jordan's brother play, right? This is the junior year. The junior year.
Okay.
Jordan sends me a clip, a message from Cade Mays. You know Cade Mays, a great football player that played at Catholic, saying that there was no feeling like winning the state championship with your brother.
Wow.
So when he hit me,
hold on, stop for a second. Okay. First off, brothers are listening all over the world to this. Greenville High School is a high school that Byron went to that one of his sons currently was going to. And so what he mentioned was the two sons from the situation that we just spoke about were communicating. And at some point we're like, yo, we would love to be together at some point. And the one that was not going to the high school that you went to got a message from another guy who was a football recruit that said it's nothing like winning a state championship with your brother. And that in itself was kind of the spark to make you think about this thing a little bit differently. So talk to me about what you did there, brother.
So when he told me that, I'm not gonna lie to you, like tears just flew down my face. I was like, man, he's right. They should be together. So I talked to my wife. I was like, what do you think about us just going ahead and doing it? Because I think the state championship's in December, right? And then me being a coach, I was like, man, he plays basketball. I was like, he can't quit on his team in the middle of the season. So what we did was I was like, as soon as basketball's over, we'll make the move. Because my brother's the football coach in Greenville. He's a linebacker coach. Okay. So I was like, you can go up there. My brother was like, yeah, he can live with me. You know, you can sign custody over. And that way we'll be all legal and he can come play. So Jordan's dream was to play college football. Okay. So I'm like, he's got a better chance. You know, my other son, he's already doing good. He's getting recruited. Both of them was already getting recruited. But even the head coach that they just signed with said, dude, you changed your senior year. So I sent Jordan up there in like February. And he started working out with him. Dude, he gained like 8 pounds in like 2 months. Wow. So he's up there living with my brother. Well, you know, my wife, she's like, man, that's my baby. He's about to graduate. And I want to be there with him. So I was like, man, we got to do what we got to do. So I put my house on the market. And it was tough because, as you know, I still drive back and forth right now. Absolutely. Yeah. And but it was right because my family's up there. I mean, her family's everywhere, but my family's up there, and the brothers was up there. And
so hold on. So stop for a second. So you all decided to then allow your son to go and play with his brother who was the same age so that they could finish their high school together. And initially it was you were just going to send him with your brother who was a coach there. Right. But your wife, and this is like listening to you fellas, I hope you're listening, listen to your wives. They have some intuition here that we don't always get. Your wife was like, no, that's my baby. I need to be there. So what did you say? We're going to have to do what we have to do to make this thing happen. And long story short, you put your house on the market and you all up and moved your family to Greenville so that the two brothers could then play high school football together, even though they're brothers who grew up with different mothers. Right. Wow. Right. Now that move back, how has that, from a relationship perspective, how has that helped in regards to the brothers, in regards to your wife, and then, you know, the mother of your other son? Like how has all that come together with you all moving back to Greenville?
I think that, well, the other boy's mother, you know, she's always kind of been kind of cordial, but, you know, she's hurt. So she's made it tough. You know, she's always made it tough. You know, like it's my time to have them. Well, something's coming up and they got an event, a family event, you know, so she's always made it tough, but she's also been always accepting to my other kids. Gotcha. And the brother, and she would treat Jordan like hers. You know, Jordan can go over there now and stay, and good. And then my wife loves it. I mean, I thought she was gonna hate it because she grew up in Chattanooga and Nashville, and she's like, I never thought I'd be a small town girl, but she loves it because you get a little closer knit to everybody when you're in a small town. Everybody knows everybody, so she loves it. My daughters love it, and I have a freshman son too. And he loves it. He got to play with both of his brothers.
Wow. So that's the even bigger, that's the even bigger scenario there, because you start to think about this move that you made. And this is what I really wanted to kind of, touch on. And I wanted the fellas to hear, there was a challenging circumstance in which, he had two babies coming at the same time from two different women. It was challenging, right? And the whole journey was challenging. But the decision on the back end to bring everybody together and just, in essence, take the bull by the horns and do what's important has led to an outcome in regards to relationship that you would not have had everybody stayed separate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I want to encourage the brothers listening to pay attention to this journey, pay attention to the concept of decision making. And sometimes things are tough, but always do things with the big picture in mind. Right? Do things in regards to what's best for everybody involved. It might not be exactly what I want, but as a dad, as a black father, as a man, we have to lead and understand that the decisions that I'm making are here to impact everybody involved, which is the kids, my wife, my children, the mother of my other children. I mean, all of that comes into play, but we have to have the courage to make the best decisions possible. And to me, the future is bright in the sense that both of your sons are graduating this year from high school, and they both signed to play football at the same university, correct?
Yes. And I mean, this football year was awesome. I mean, like, you heard Gillespie on the tackle, Gillespie on the run. Like, it was even to where the radio guy was joking. It's like the Greenville Gillespies, and that was just like, man. Like,
that's your boys.
That's my boys, and it was like, who would have ever thought? Like, for real, who would have ever thought? And then they both had great years. They both had different scholarship offers, but I noticed that when they went on visits, they always wanted to go together.
Wow.
And I was like, that's good for me. I go one place on Saturday and watch the game, instead of trying to choose and pick, which was hard. It was hard with which game am I going to go to, which was the better game. Like, I was going back and forth. So that was a help for me when I got them together, because I only had one game to go to. And when it came to make a decision, I think Javon pretty much knew where he was going. But even in the office, because I sat in both meetings, right? I'm both of their dads. So I sat in with Javon with the head coach. I sat in with Jordan with the head coach. And neither one of them make a decision. When I knew Jordan, he wasn't really ready, but I knew Javon was. But I think they had already made up their mind that they were going to play together.
Wow.
And they were going to go to school together.
What's powerful about that? It was like, because of the circumstance and the situation, due to, decision making as a young man, you had to pick and choose. Right. You had to say, where am I going to be this weekend? Who am I going to spend time with? You had to pick and choose. But because of your decision making as a grown man, and because of the solid decision that you chose to make as a grown man, you no longer have to pick and choose because they chose to be together. That's powerful. That's powerful.
And that is, blessed.
That's blessed. I mean, at the end of the day.
And this is what I would tell the fathers is you have to be, the word I'm looking for is courageous, because it does take courage. It does take courage to stand up to the moms. And I really fought because I wanted them together young. I didn't want to be a Wednesday dad and every other weekend dad.
Absolutely.
I wasn't going for that. So what I did was I couldn't have split because she lived in a different city. So I said, I want every weekend. And that's how I did it. So every weekend they was coming up here. They were playing sports together from then. Since they were 8, I coached them in basketball. So I think that helped too. But the main thing is I think a lot of fathers settle, man. Like, all right, I'll be Wednesday and every other weekend. Well, that definitely wouldn't have happened worked in my situation. They would, if I did that, I don't think they would have been as tight knit and played college football together.
Dude,
you see what I'm saying?
Fellas, I hope you're paying attention to that wisdom. Your kids are worth fighting for, right? I know that sometimes things are going to be presented to you and you feel like that you have to settle for that, but they're worth fighting for. And if you fight for them for the right reasons, you can then on the back end look and see what that leads to. And it's all about relationships. You know, there's a concept that I always mention that it's not what you know, but who you know. More importantly, who knows you. And a lot of that, when you think about family, is so important because who knows you the best a lot of times are the people you spend the most time with. And so by spending the most time with your family, you then build those relationships. And look at this thing that's being set up by Byron's sons. It's Javon and Jordan, right?
Jordan, right.
Yeah. I mean, look at this, man. I mean, by him not taking no for an answer in regards to time with his kids, they were able to build this relationship over these years, even in different cities or from different situations. And then by him at the end of the day, a little over a year ago, deciding to move so that they can actually spend more time and build an even tighter bond led to them both going to the same college next year. So talk to me now. So where are they going to school next year?
They're going to University of Virginia Wise, D2 football school.
University of Virginia Wise. So, fellas, if y'all follow college football, D2 college football, when you see Jordan and Javon Gillespie on the field, just know you heard some of the backstory on Black Fathers Now with their father, Byron Gillespie. I appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Now, fellas, as always, make sure to follow blackfathersnow.com, subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, any place you listen to podcasts, subscribe, leave ratings, and share this episode out, man. There's some good wisdom here. I want you to listen to the wisdom of Byron Gillespie, man. There's some really good stuff that you can kind of dial into, but then also things that you can apply to your life right now. Your kids are worth fighting for. Relationships are important. Do what's necessary to foster great relationships. This is sponsored by blackfamilyapparel.com. Visit blackfamilyapparel.com and grab some dope apparel that celebrates the nuances of the Black family. And hey, until next time, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com. as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.